Hey everybody, welcome to Home Recording Made Easy and Mix Tip Tuesday, where every Tuesday I show you a new mixing tip to help you make more professional sounding mixes in your home studio. Before we get to this week's tip, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. Make sure you hit that notification bell and also stick around till the end of the video, because at the end of the video I have something I want to give you absolutely free that's really going to help you with your mixing training, so be sure to stick around. Everybody, welcome. So in this week's Mix Tip Tuesday, we are going to talk about de-essing a vocal, but we're going to talk about de-essing vocals without using a plugin, what I like to call manually de-essing a vocal. This is a cool trick, and this is something that'll keep you from having to futz around with a de-esser. De-esser plugins are great, but sometimes they're difficult to set, and where you get it to set to work perfectly on one specific phrase. Then when you get to the next phrase where maybe there's an S or something that wasn't as obvious as the first one, it may not always catch it, and you constantly got to tweak it. It's a lot like a gate. Now, I've used lots of de-esser plugins in the past, and most of them aren't very good, in my opinion. There are a couple that I do recommend. One is by FabFilter called the Pro de-ess. It's probably one of the best ones that I've used. And there's also one by Slate Digital, and I don't remember what it is, but if you're part of the everything bundle of Slate Digital, you'll have that plugin. Their de-esser is pretty good as well. But if you have a vocal that doesn't have a ton of S's in it, instead of fooling around with a plugin, I'm going to show you a quick and easy way to go ahead and manually de-ess. So here we are on a lead vocal. Now this mix is not really done. I'm using it as a demonstration for different types of plugins. It's kind of a country tune, but I want you to listen to this first verse here and listen to the lead vocal in particular. Here we go.
Just like a steam train locomotive, oh, she's coming around the bend. She doesn't have any destination. Those railroad tracks never come to an end.
Okay, so right in that first phrase, we have four very obvious t-t-t-t. You can hear it. So let's listen to this again.
Just like a steam train locomotive, oh,
she's, right? And even in the beginning, steam train locomotive.
Just like a steam train locomotive, oh, she's coming around the bend. She doesn't have any destination.
Destinations, okay?
Those railroad tracks never come to an end.
Railroad tracks never come to an end. Okay, so again, now you can use a de-esser, but what I like to do is something very quick, very easy. Let's solo up this vocal. Here's the vocal track here in yellow. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to come over to where I hear the first S.
Just like a steam train locomotive, oh,
she. Now, if I were to zoom out on this just by taking my mouse and my trackball and kind of wheeling down, as I'm starting to zoom way in on the audio, you can see that the audio wave starts to break apart. See how it breaks apart kind of here and here? But right here, it stays like that solid color. What I like to call kind of like a football shape, you know, sort of. It's a solid color that doesn't ever seem to break apart. That's the S, okay? So what I do is I listen for it and I identify it by zooming in on the audio to find the football, if you will. Take my blade tool and I'm going to cut on either side of it and then go back to my selector tool. And now this is its own separate piece of audio, right? Here, here, and here. Matter of fact, maybe we'll change the color a little darker so it's a little easier to see on the screen. So you have it here, here's the S, okay? And then I take this, and you see this little handle where when I roll my mouse over, it turns into a little hand. Every DAW will be very, very similar. I'm gonna left click and I'm gonna take this down a little bit. This is called clip gain. And I'm gonna take this down maybe, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 dB is usually where a good starting point is. And I'm gonna zoom back out again. I'm going to listen to that section again and listen to the S now.
Oh, she's
still a little bit heavy. Going to turn it down a little bit more. And I know that vocal's a little loud. Let me turn that down a little. Overall, here we go.
Oh, she's come.
Okay, that compared to this. Oops. So this is where we started.
Oh,
right? To this.
Oh, she's come.
And even that's a little much. Now we're doing it in solo, so it's going to sound really bad. I'm almost turning this down 10 dB. Now, depending on your S and how bad it is, like I said, 6 dB is about a starting point.
Oh, she's coming.
A lot more natural. So we went from this, where we started,
Oh, she,
to this.
oh, she's coming
Okay? And then I go through and I listen for the next one.
around the bend. She does.
Right there. She doesn't zoom out. You can see all the audio break apart, but here's the little football, if you will. See how the audio splits apart on the far right of this? Gonna take my blade tool, come over here, go back to my selector tool. You know, this is pretty heavy, so I'm gonna say 8.9 dB. Turn down just the S, which is basically what we're doing is what a de-esser would do, but manually.
She doesn't have.
Even that's a little much. Now we're doing it in solo. You should do this with the whole band in to see how offensive the S really is, because you want it to sound natural. Okay, so I'm doing this in solo so you can hear the difference and exaggerate it.
Bend. She doesn't have any debt.
So we have those two S's here.
Oh, she's coming around the bend. She doesn't have.
Now bring the whole band back in and listen to it now.
Oh, she's coming around the bend. She doesn't have.
Even that's still a little much for me, so I'll turn it down until it doesn't get offensive.
Oh, she's coming around the bend. She doesn't have.
A little bit better, right? And you just tweak it. Okay, maybe 10, 11 dB in this case.
Oh, she's coming around the bend. She doesn't have any destination.
Destination. Okay, so again, I split it apart. See the football right here? Again, let's cut it on either side. 1, 2, take this, turn it down. We know we need about 8.9 dB on this one. And now listen to it back.
Any destination. Goes real any destination.
Okay, so we'll go from that, from this,
Any destination.
to this.
Destination. Those railroad tracks never come to an end.
So it sounds very natural.
Tracks.
Tracks. Here's another one. Okay, now this vocal has a lot of these in it throughout. And so the tendency for people to do, if it's going through the whole song like this manually, could take an enormous amount of time, and they'll tend to slap a de-esser on it. But what I find, as I said, is a de-esser, you spend more time tweaking with it, at least for me, than anything else. I would rather take the time on the lead vocal, because the lead vocal is the most important instrument in a vocal song, right? And go through each one of these and manually do it. And then if I feel that I turned it down quite a bit, and every now and again it's just a little too much, I might put a de-esser just to very lightly finish it off at the end. It really depends on the program material.
Railroad tracks never come.
So the word tracks,
Tracks never.
not bad. So if I was here,
Tracks never.
tracks,
Tracks never come.
and then we went to this.
Tracks never come to an end.
Okay, so I go through the entire song and do this and take the time to do it. Now, once you have all of these little cuts here, right, all these little cuts of audio, you don't want to inadvertently nudge one at a time, which can happen. And you don't want to have to put crossfades on every single one, although you could. What I do is if I go through the whole lead vocal, and let's say there's 20 or 30 of these, if it's really bad, I will highlight them all. And then in Studio One, and every DAW will do this, you know, very similarly, I do Command B or bounce it. And bounce it brings it to one block of audio. So now you're back to just one single event, and all those little cuts and all those little reductions in the S's are all going to be there. As I said, every DAW will do that command slightly different, but that's what I do. So I go through, and this is usually right at the very beginning of the mix as I'm setting up my mix, and you can go look at prior Mix Tip Tuesday episodes. There'll be a playlist link in the description box to go check all the prior episodes of Mix Tip Tuesday. But I'll usually do this at the setup. I'll listen to the vocal during the static mix process, and if I start to hear all these S's, before I put any plugins on this mix and start using compression and EQ, especially if you have an S problem with a raw track, if you start adding compression and EQ, especially on the top end to bring some more air into the vocal, you're going to enhance that S problem. So what I like to do is fix all of my S's, manually de-ess my S's on my lead vocal track, and even background vocals as well if it's bad, before I do any plugins. Then when I'm adding EQ and compression, I don't have to worry about that vocal ever getting a little harsh and a little too Now, if it does, after I'm doing my processing and I've already done all my manual de-essing, sometimes I may have to go back and fix one or two manually, or at the very end, like I said, maybe I'll toss a de-esser and just do a very light amount of de-essing just to kind of capture anything I might have missed. So it's a balancing act, but the majority of it is done manually. And that's a great trick to make the vocals sound very natural. You get rid of all those nasty S's, and you could do the same things with plosives as well, where someone will come up on a mic and get really close and puff into the mic. You could do the same thing. You can go in and hit that little P and you could pull it down. And that's a great little trick. So I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Mix Tip Tuesday. Now, again, thank you for watching the video. I want to give you a couple of free gifts, as I say every single week. The first gift I want to give you, especially if this is the first video that you're watching here at Home Recording Made Easy, head on over to homerecordingmadeeasy.com. Link will be in the description box. And I want to give you 5 free mixing training courses so you can take all these concepts and all these little mixing tricks and tips that I'm giving you every single Tuesday and apply them to actual audio examples where you get to do a full mix, see me mix an entire song from start to finish, and you can mix the song along with me. 5 free mixing training courses worth a couple of $100 US in your pocket, absolutely free, homerecordingmadeeasy.com. And I also want to give you a coupon code. If you look in the description box below, there'll be a coupon code. The coupon code is YouTube25. That's YouTube25. Use that at checkout. You could take 25% off any of my training courses at homerecordingmadeeasy.com. Just for me to say thank you. Check out one of my courses, get 25% off. And lastly, if you really enjoy mixing and you really want to learn the craft of mixing in a very non-technical way, check out what I have going on over at mixingmadeeasy.net. Join a community of like-minded mixing engineers and aspiring audio engineers to get better at the craft of mixing, perfect for beginners and intermediates. Again, links are in the description box. And lastly, let me know below in the description box, have you ever heard of manual de-essing? What do you do when you have a real S problem in your mix? Do you just use a de-esser plugin? And if you do, what's your favorite de-esser plugin? I'd be curious to know what you guys think. And if you have ever done this manual de-essing before, if you have not, go do it on your next project and then come back and report in the comments and let me know, how did you like it? Did it work for you? Is it a cool tip? Is it something you could put in your back pocket and pull out when you need it? I really would love to hear from you in the comment section below. Until next week's Mix Tip Tuesday, I've been Dave with homerecordingmadeeasy.com, and I will see you very soon. Take care.